Welcome to the Head Shepherd podcast. I'm your host, Mark Ferguson, CEO here at NextGen Agri International, where we help livestock managers get the best out of their stock. Before we get started, thank you to our two fantastic sponsors for continuing to sponsor this podcast. MSD Animal Health is perhaps better known as Cooper's Animal Health in Australia and for their Allflex range across the world, with a comprehensive suite of animal health and management products. Honiger is a one-stop shop for wool harvesting and animal fibre removal. The Honiger team have a deep understanding of livestock agriculture, backed by Swiss engineering and a family business dedicated to manufacturing the best. We are grateful to our sponsors for their support, helping us bring Head Shepherd to you each week. And now it's time to get on with this week's episode. Welcome back to Head Shepherd. Today on the show, we're heading into aquaculture, which is not somewhere we often go, but it's a great thrill to have Maegen Blom join us today. Maegen is the operations manager at Mills Bay Mussels. She's also a finalist in the Xander McDonald Award, New Zealand version of that award, and we'll be heading to the Gold Coast in March to find out how she went with the other two finalists. We had Hamish on recently, and we've got Sarah coming up soon, so you'll hear from all of those three New Zealand finalists, and then we'll get into the Aussie ones as well in due course over 2025. But yeah, great to have Maegen along. She mussel farming is not something I know anything about, but it was a really great conversation to really understand that production system, and I guess farming's farming, and it's affected by the weather as much as the more normal livestock that we get to play with. So yeah, I hope you enjoy that chat. She's certainly got plenty of energy and plenty of passion for the mussel industry, and it's always good to think about, I guess, different industries doing different things and where the similarities are. And so yeah, really hope you enjoy that chat. Before we get into that, really encourage you to jump on the hub and check out the latest article that's been placed on there. Dr. Amy Lockwood, that works for us in WA, has put through an article on nutrition over summer and autumn, really a critical period for you nutrition, obviously fairly topical at the moment when this is released in summer 2025. And yeah, I guess the opportunity is to really set things up mainly by not letting you slip too far is kind of the biggest trick, I think, saving future energy by feeding a little early, and rather than having to really fix that later on with either pasture or crop or something else. So some great tips there from Amy, who's all knowing in that field. Also wanted a quick shout out to keep an eye on our socials. OptiU is being launched. OptiU is a series of workshops that we're launching. It's over 2 years in a group format, so 7 or 8 farms getting together, working together across all of the principles of good farm business. So we go across genetics, nutrition, a little bit of cost of production. Yeah, I guess some of the key principles of running a good business. And yeah, we've got some great material. We've been building that over the last 6 to 12 months. And looking forward to running some pilot groups. So if you or a few mates want to get together and put your hand up for a pilot group, we're running that at half price for these first groups. We'll probably have 2 to 5 groups depending on where they are and how we can manage it. So get in early. We won't run many of these this year, but it will be a great opportunity to learn. Obviously, once we've run those pilot groups and made sure that it's all working as we hope, then we'll launch it fully across the industry. So yeah, keep an eye on our socials or get in touch directly with us if that sounds something that is of interest to you. And finally, quickly before we get underway, I just want to put a quick shout out to Chris Kilby there in New South Wales. Chris took the time to email me this week and sent through his feedback on the podcast and let us know the bits he enjoys and the bits he wants more of and that sort of stuff. And yeah, we really appreciate that feedback and appreciate the time taken to sit down and pen that email. So thanks, Chris. Great to have you listening along. Righto, we'll get underway with this week's show with Maegen Blom. Welcome back to Head Shepherd, and welcome Maegen Blom.
Hello, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. I think it's our first aquaculture episode. I think we're normally much more terrestrial, but yeah, great to have you along and great to be sharing your story. You're operations manager there at Mills Bay Mussels. We'll get into that in a minute, but yeah, congratulations again on being a finalist for the Xander McDonald Award. It's great to, again, be branching out in that award as well and have a bit of aquaculture in the mix.
It's pretty exciting.
Is indeed. So yeah, I guess if we might start off with, I guess, the family story, really, how dairy farmers decided that they'd start farming a few mussels.
Yeah, so my parents immigrated from the Netherlands and they were really set on dairy farming. And New Zealand was a country with a lot of opportunity to get into dairy farming. So that's how they started their farming career in New Zealand. And then around 8 or 9 years ago, they decided they wanted to diversify and also move to Marlborough. They love Marlborough, the region, and also the the warm weather up here. So then, moved up to here, like the whole family, and then they diversified into mussels, bought an existing mussel distribution business, and then went into partnership with some existing mussel farmers who had a lot of that knowledge. But mussel farming is, I guess, an exciting industry for my family because it's a relatively young industry with a lot of opportunity for growth and development, and also is very close to the consumer. I guess with dairy farming, you're very focused on reducing cost, but you never really know what price you're going to get for the product when it leaves the farm. And that was the appeal about mussels, is that we can be a lot closer to the market and determine the pricing. So, there were a couple of the appeals to mussels. And then as this was all happening, it really sparked my interest as well. I love mussels and I really enjoy the business. So I went away to uni and things, but then I was drawn back. So now I work full-time in the family business, focus on the mussel division. But it's pretty fun.
I think you love mussels is probably a bit of an understatement. You're obviously a very passionate mussel advocate, which we all need those in our industry. So, was there any transferable skills going from dairy farming to mussel farming, or is it all new stuff?
Yeah, well, definitely it's farming. So you've got a lot of the same challenges with the weather and like long investment cycles, and you're producing your food and things are volatile. So I guess the general gist of farming is very similar, but the technical aspects are totally different. Yeah, I guess the biggest difference with mussel farming and traditional other ways of farming is you can't really control much of the process. So you can't feed the mussels. You rely on the phytoplankton that's growing in the water. You can't add fertilizer. You can't drench, or you can't do anything. You just have to hang them in the water and find a really good location. And hope they grow. So I guess that's one of the biggest differences is that mussel farming is very passive, when I guess dairy farming, there's a lot more control.
And even now, as we've sort of chatted about before, but even down to the genetics, you literally have to shovel them off a beach somewhere. There's no actual control of where you can't go to the sale yards and buy some mussels.
That's probably the bit you found most fascinating, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah. So most of the mussel stock that the industry relies on is sourced from 90 Mile Beach. So it sticks itself to seaweed that's drifting in the water, and then it washes up on the beach up there. And then there's people grabbing it up off the beach with loaders and then shipping it down to Marlborough, and then it's seeded onto the lines down here. But it's all wild mussel spat. So the genetics are quite unknown. And the other crazy thing is that no one really knows where it's originated from. It just appears at 90 Mile Beach, and people can forecast when it's going to be there, and there's conditions when it's better, but the actual origins of that spat is still unknown. There is hatchery spat being grown in Nelson at Spat NZ, but it's still at really low volumes, and the breeding is still in its early stages. So I guess that's another area where there's a lot of opportunity in the mussel industry.
Yeah, absolutely untapped. And so spat is the name for a baby mussel, I assume.
Yes. Yeah.
It's amazing that no one knows. They just turn up and just grab them, and there we go.
Oh, it's crazy. We base a whole industry off this, and then some years it just doesn't appear, or it appears really late, or there's not much of it. And then also, once it's caught and shipped down here, the retention is relatively low too. So there's about 1% spat retention from the product that comes from Kaitaia to what's actually harvested down here. A lot of the mussels are seeded, and then if the conditions aren't quite right, they're still so small they can just swim away, or they can be eaten by snapper, or there's lots of different factors, or it can die. But so the spat part of the mussel industry is quite volatile, but I guess that's also, like I said, a place for opportunity.
So once they're seeded onto a line, so they've got to be bigger before you can sort of put a net around them and they can't leave, or how does that work?
Yes, so they are seeded with a cotton stocking. So they go onto the crop rope, which is a really fluffy rope, and then the spat kind of wants to stick to it. So they've got their little byssus, their little beard that they can stick to the rope. and then there's a cotton stocking that gets put on it to sort of hold them on. And then over time, so around like 6 weeks, 2 months, that cotton stocking will biodegrade. And then the idea is that after that period of time, the mussels have attached themselves to the line.
Yeah, right. Is there anything stopping snapper coming and chewing them off the line, or are they?
Yeah, there is. And in the Marlborough Sounds, it's not too big of an issue, but in the Coromandel mussel farms, that's a real challenge for them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, even snapper just ripping open that cotton, getting in there. Yeah.
So everyone loves snapper except mussel farmers. Is that how?
Yeah. But like, oh no, sort of embrace it as well. It's pretty good for the public. You can promote it as mussel farms are a really good location to go snapper fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, behind a harvester.
That's what I've taken out of this conversation. Yeah.
It's not all dire. There's a lot of very talented and knowledgeable people in the mussel industry that have cracked it with the spat, and they know what they're doing. But a lot of that's based on a lot of experience and knowledge, and still they don't always get it right.
Yeah, cool. So you're all green lip mussels, or is there more than one mussel you grow?
Yeah. So we're focused on the green lip mussels, or green shell mussels, sort of interchangeable name. We've just recently launched a really small exclusive line of blue mussels, Tyata blue mussels from Elaine Bay, and they're just going to like just a handful of chefs. But that's small volume. Our main focus is definitely the green shell.
And you can draft that spat, or they come from a different location to get that seed stock?
Yeah, so that I think has come from locally caught spat. So that's spat that's been floating in the Marlborough Sounds, and then that's been seeded onto that line of blue mussels.
Yeah, right.
But that's not a new one. That I haven't really heard of anyone else doing that before. So we're doing that in partnership with a very experienced mussel farmer, Simon Pooley.
Yeah, right. Cool. Excellent. So how long you been in that? So it's 8 years for the family. You've been in that the whole time? Or?
Yeah, so I was about, I think, 16 when the whole purchase process happened. And so I'd be like in and out of school, doing my projects. And I just loved being there. So the first thing I got stuck into was rebranding the business. So it originally was called the Hairy Mussel Company, which was pretty funny. And it served its purpose up until this point. But we decided we wanted to sort of launch mussels into the market as a premium product and wanted to have names on restaurant menus and things like that. So we rebranded to Mills Bay Mussels. And Mills Bay is one of the original bays where the very first test mussel farms were at the very beginning of the mussel industry. And it's still like a really productive bay. So we thought it was quite a testament to the sustainability of the industry. So that was my first project and like got all the branding and then got that all up and running with the new name and the whole process. And then at the front of our factory, we've got a tasting room and eatery. And at that point, it was just like a boarded up room that used to be used for smoking mussels. But we got rid of all the boards, opened it all up, and then now we've got this really fun tasting room and eatery. And it's our marketing hub. So in Marlborough, in our region, it's a real wine region. So there's cellar doors everywhere where you can go and taste wine. And we've sort of tapped into that. We've got our cellar door, but for mussels, so people can come and taste and ask questions. And we've got an open kitchen, so you can come and watch and see how mussels can be prepared. We get a lot of people who are a little bit nervous about mussels. They're like, I've never really had them before. I don't really like them, but, I trust you to give me a new experience. So that's quite fun. So that was another project I took on to open that up. And that's been running now, I think, seven summers. It's open year round, but 7 years it's been going. And then, when I went to uni and stuff, I'd always just have like little bits and pieces on the go. Helped a lot with marketing, mainly promotion. And then, around just over 3 years ago, I stepped into the operations manager role full time with much more of a day-to-day focus.
Oh, yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
Where's the product going primarily? Is it all domestic or are you exporting some? Or?
Yeah, so we run our mussel farming business and Mills Bay Mussels separately. So Mills Bay is buying in our product from our farms. So Mills Bay is only selling domestically. So we keep all of that product in New Zealand. It's going to restaurants, to New World, Pick and Save, Woolworths, wholesalers like Bidfood, and also home delivery. Yeah, and then from our mussel farming business, we do sell in bulk some of our surplus product for export.
So if I wander into New World, do I find Mills Bay mussels, or is there a mixture of?
So in the South Island, you'll pretty much only find Mills Bay mussels. In the North Island, there's a mixture. So we're supplying some New Worlds, but there's also product coming from the Coromandel.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And so picking those farming locations, is just kind of, they obviously, I don't know, water temperature, where they are in proximity to other stuff. What does that look like?
Yeah, so it's not 100% my area of expertise. Like, I'm mostly focused on post-harvest. So I get the mussels off the boat, and then that's my area of expertise. So the actual mussel farming, the technical parts of it, I wouldn't actually know how to pick the best mussel farming site. But we have the biggest thing that for me is important is to have a range of sites in different locations for rainfall closures. So water quality is really important for mussel farming, and when you're harvesting, you have to have clean water. So if it rains really heavily, you've got a lot of runoff, and there's like risk of contamination of the product. So there's like a withholding period after rainfall for a period of time that you can't harvest. So, but the Marlborough Sounds and Golden Bay are like our mussel farming region, and rain doesn't always fall across the board. So sometimes you have high rainfall in like the western part, but then no rain in the eastern part. So then it's really important for me to have access to mussel farms all over the Sounds and Golden Bay so that I can always harvest. Yeah, but still sometimes it happens that can't get mussels from anywhere because everything's shut. Yeah, but then there's definitely areas that are better for growing spat versus growing final crop. Yeah, but selecting water space, biggest thing for me is to have a big range of areas.
Yeah, right. What's the problem with rain? What is that? I mean, they're in water, and so what's people? I can understand the problem with rain on barley and wheat, but I'm struggling with mussels.
Yeah, it's just about runoff.
Yeah, right.
And salinity. So, especially in the inner Sounds, you've got a lot of land around. When there's a lot of runoff, there's like bacteria in the water. You can get risk of E. coli contamination and things. Yeah. So, and the mussels can filter 300 litres of water per day. So as soon as there's something in the water, it gets into the mussels.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they're filtering that much water that as soon as the water clears up, they filter everything out of them that might have gone in. So, the Marlborough Sounds is split up into, I think, around 15 growing areas, and they open and close on a really complicated matrix that's run by a third party, and the whole industry has to abide by that. So if they close an area, you have to wait till they reopen it to harvest. And that's just a food safety thing. Yeah.
Cool. That's got to be a pub quiz somewhere. How many litres of water does the average mussel filter a day? That'll be surely that's
incredible.
That is phenomenal, yeah. What's that? That's a 40-gallon drum and a half. That's not a bad effort. Yeah.
Mussel.
Yeah. I did say something recently that they use mussels as they've got like sensors on some mussels, and when they close, it essentially turns off the irrigation dam or the irrigation access because they obviously are sensitive to water quality, and if water quality is bad, they shut up shop. And so they're using them as a biosensor essentially.
I've read about this too. Is this in Poland or something?
I read it on the weekend. Yeah, which was cool.
Yeah, I've heard about this. Yeah, but they're very sensitive. And even up in, I think, around Auckland, they're using mussels to like clean water, filter the water. So they're not for consumption, but they're just these mussel beds that they're using to increase the water quality because they can filter it so efficiently. Yeah,
right. Cool. Yeah. Lots for me to learn about mussels anyway, but fascinating industry. What's the greatest challenges that you face day to day?
Greatest challenges. Probably dealing with a live product. I've got a really sensitive supply chain because I can't hold product. So as soon as it's harvested, it needs to go to the customer. So if anything happens, my supply chain gets really disrupted. So the biggest one is rain or like delays in transportation, ferries not running to the North Island, and things like that. Yeah, so supply chain disruption is probably the biggest challenge for me just because I've got such a fast-moving product.
Yeah. So how long have you got to get it, like if I'm at a New World in Christchurch, how long have you got to get it from a mussel farm to me, and then how long is it what's that time frame?
It's pretty quick. So we're gonna harvest like tonight. So the mussels will come in at 6-7 o'clock. Tomorrow morning we'll pack them first thing, and then Wednesday morning, like 7-8 o'clock, they'll be with the customer.
Yeah, right. So we're recording up. So that's within, what's that, 36 hours basically? Or,
yeah, quick.
And then how long have they got? I see they're in like those live tanks in with water on them, but how long have they got to sell them until they're no good?
Yeah, so mussels are pretty happy out of water for up to 7 days.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, as long as they don't get too cold. They kind of don't like getting colder than 6 or 7 degrees.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, right.
They're an intertidal species, so they're quite happy out of the water too.
Yeah. We've got a little while, but yeah, it'll keep things moving. Cool. Well, yeah, next time we see you, we'll be in the Gold Coast and at the Xander Summit. Looking forward to that.
I'm so excited.
Yeah,
probably the biggest thing, I'm looking forward to meeting everyone there. So it'll be cool to hang out with them again. But I guess you're busy all the time and there's a lot going on, and sometimes you lose track of the bigger picture. And I'm just looking forward to an opportunity to spend some time with inspiring people and live in that space for a few days, get some good ideas, challenge my thoughts.
Yeah, no, certainly all that will happen for sure. And yeah, it'd be a great group. We also had a McDonald's Summit in March in the Gold Coast this year. But yeah, really looking forward to catching up again and dreaming about how we can control the genetics of mussels. It'd be good.
I can't wait. There's a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
There's need more hours in the day, more days in the week. But we'll just chip away at it.
Yeah.
I've got a good team around me at Mills Bay, really awesome team. And in the industry, we've got strong industry partners that we're growing with together. So, no, looking forward to the future for sure.
Excellent. So, obviously, export is where that's got to be the ultimate goal, or not, or just keep growing the opportunity here?
At the moment, growth is happening in our mussel farming division. So, like I was saying, strong partnerships within the industry. We've partnered with a contractor in the Marlborough Sounds, Simon Pooley, Waimana Marine, and we're building a mussel boat together, like a purpose-built vessel for harvesting and seeding. So that's going to be really the key to us to grow our mussel farming operation. And then when that's growing, that's really securing our supply to grow our sales and distribution. And part of that will be export. I'm actually quite excited to spend a bit of time on the Gold Coast, and I've tagged a day on in Sydney to go to Sydney Fish Market. Just to see if there's opportunity close to home in Australia. But probably an easy export or an easier export option, I don't know if easy is really the word for it, but I guess a more short-term opportunity is we are developing a mussel health supplement. So that's mussel oil, which is really, really high in omega-3, and it supports like inflammation in your body, so mainly joint health, but also healthy breathing and skin. So, yeah, we're building that, growing that product at the moment. That's going to be launched hopefully before I go to Australia. But that is shelf stable and also can be exported. So we'll probably start with that, and then longer term goal, is to grow the mussel business. But I'd say with partners in the industry as well. I don't know if we're going to do it all by ourselves. But, yeah, that's a strength of the industry, that we can work together, utilise our skills.
Yeah. Is that our value, Mark? Like that's, I'm assuming you crack the odd shell and stuff, so you can put that through an oil process or a powder process rather than into the food chain. Is that how that works, or you would grow mussels just to make the oil out of?
At the moment, the A grade mussels are going for oil.
Yeah, right.
It's worth doing. Yeah. Our broken mussels, we make into burley for fishing. It's called fish magnet.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So that's sort of the market we use for that. But yeah, maybe there is opportunity there to use it for oil, but you do want good quality for the oil.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Maegen, one of the questions we ask every guest on Head Shepherd is, what have you last changed your mind about?
Yeah, so it is a bit of a tricky question, but I have had a recent revelation. Just about, I guess you always got challenges coming your way, things being added to your plate, but things that like sort of scare me or put me on edge or looks like a really big challenge. I sort of had a bit of a mindset shift about just leaning into it, just getting stuck in, chipping away at it. And it's just taken sort of the daunting effect off some things that I have found challenging in the past. Yeah, so that's a bit of a light bulb moment I've had recently. Lean into it.
Cool. Excellent. That's a bit of good advice there. I think, I don't know about you, but I find that stuff I've been putting off for weeks or months actually ends up being not anywhere near as bad as what you thought once you do actually lean into it.
Yeah, Xander McDonald Award is probably one of them. Something that I found really daunting, a bit scary to apply for. It was, but quite a challenge for me, I guess. But now I'm amongst it. It's kind of like, oh, well, embrace it with two hands. It's an awesome opportunity. Lean into it. It's actually proving to be pretty awesome.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you. Righto, we better stop chatting mussels and we'll let you get it back to your busy day. But yeah, appreciate your time and really looking forward to catching up in the Goldie and chatting more about mussels.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Maegen.
Thanks again to Heinegger, who are proud world leaders in the manufacturing and supply of professional sheep shearing and clipping equipment. Thank you to MNSD Animal Health and Norflex Livestock Intelligence. They offer an extensive livestock product portfolio focused on animal health management, all backed up by exceptional service. We thank both of these companies for their ongoing support of the Head Shepherd podcast.